Yeah, I will. Live, more or less from Las Vegas. This is Good Sports. Hey, Mark.
Hey,
Good morning, and what's happening on your side of the world?
oh God, what a week! What a week! What a week! Hey,
we have a Triple Crown winner in American Pharoah.
Yes, we do.
We have in the Stanley Cup coming down. This is going to be the last week of hockey and basketball for a couple months, anyway. And other than and just a news flash, this just came on maybe half an hour ago or so. They're planning a new soccer stadium for downtown Las Vegas.
Of course,
where have I heard this before?
Yeah,
this one's supposed to contain convention area, a covered soccer stadium, and a racetrack. And I thought they meant like let's have a track meet. Quarter-mile track? No. They mean a stock car track. Like it looks like it was the drawing looks like it would very much be like Indianapolis with four 90-degree corners at it. And I'm going to say this. I want to be the first to say this, and hopefully I am. There ain't no way in hell the soccer stadium might fly. That track. Useless as tits on a boar hog, as the old saying goes, because there ain't no way they can ever have any kind of races head-to-head with Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You know, Bruton Smith is not a passive man. This is the guy that bought North Wilkesboro because they wouldn't give him a date, and he said, screw it, I'll buy a racetrack and close it so I can have the date for Kentucky. I believe it's what he bought it.
Yes.
Yes, I don't think this is one of those. Okay, and oh look, there's the Tooth Fairy with Peter Pan, and isn't that the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus lagging behind a little bit? But it was a nice break.
Well,
it was a good giggle.
Well, but now one of the boosters for the UNLV is piecing together some land next to UNLV. Okay.
They're saying this project would be 200 acres.
What, the one downtown? Okay. But it was funny because they're like, okay, we've got the land. We just need now the money to develop it. And I'm thinking, you guys have totally forgot about Sam Boyd, haven't you?
That's like, well, I have a penis. All I need is a hooker.
Yes.
Okay. That's an important part that you're missing.
You have this vacant stadium sitting way out in the middle of Henderson here that would be excellent to develop. That's probably worth more than I mean, that'll pay for the stadium.
Oh, the Silver Bowl, Sam Boyd Stadium, whatever the hell it's called now.
Yeah.
Sell that turf. First, it was built in a swamp. It's built on the outer edge of Lake Mead. And that land is not the most conducive land to building anything on, but that hasn't stopped them before. No. But as a stadium, it's a waste of space. As a housing tract or whatever, obviously it would be more valuable. I don't think they've made a dime at the Silver Bowl in any given year for a long, long time. God, and no. I mean, that's unfortunate, but I think that's the truth of the matter. They occasionally have a concert out there. I think was the Electric Daisy Carnival out there?
No, track.
A couple of years. I don't know. Wherever it's been. But whatever big concert or thing they started out there, and people are like, why are we traveling all the way the hell out here when we could travel all the way hell out there to the Speedway and have amenities, have stuff. Yeah. So I don't think the Silver Bowl is long for the world as a stadium. It's not even a good high school stadium. You know, they tried so many different things there. Mickey Thompson off-road races were there. They've had concerts. They rumor it all out there, but not very many witnesses to that. You know, I think there were more. people walk across the water than actually go to see you run the Rebels football.
Right.
This year, Tony Sanchez comes in, regime, same story. You could put Jeff Gordon in a 74 VW Beetle. He ain't going to win the Indy 500 or the Daytona 500 or any race in that. I don't care if it's a Herbie. He's not going to do it. You put Tony Sanchez and the coaching staff and the new regime and the new kids out there, they're not going to do much better. Fans aren't going to go. They'll have to win right off. They'll have to be 7-0 to get a crowd that even approaches filling that stadium up. So, we need one in town. They need one across the street from UNLV. You're right. But this project that they're announcing, Mark, I will sooner be the president and the vice president and the first lady that controls the race, that has a racetrack, and they say there's no public money. And it's a soccer star, and I forget the young man's name, who is spearheading this effort, but it ain't on you right now. It's got no chance. Zero. It's dead on arrival. So other than that, back to real sports. I mean, sports, if ever there was a fantasy sport, that's it. Soccer stadiums in Las Vegas. Because it's not going to have MGM's got their own stadium now.
Yep.
I guess that's the wave of the future. Certainly Caesar's Palace and those people tend to go tit for tat with whatever the Mirage does, or MGM Mirage. If you look at the Ferris wheel, the whatever the hell the thing's called, the observation wheel. We did one. Well, we're going to do one better. Well, that's where it stopped. I think they had the 2 concrete towers, and MGM said, "Nah, they got us first, and we're not going to have 2, and it's stupid." So, for everybody have an arena here in town, okay, but then they're all going to starve. So I don't know if it's greed or stupidity or ego or what, but
Okay, well,
we'll find out. But it gives us something to talk about on a slow sports day.
Well, Rick, I hate to say it, but but we need about 2 more arenas in this town. We really do.
Right.
Okay.
But they have to be viable. They have to be working arenas. The Thomas and Mack Works, if it was out there where the Silver Bowl is, it'd be empty too. It doesn't matter. You got to, bring the mountain to Muhammad, because Muhammad ain't traveling out to that mountain. And if they build it somewhere, if it's about running Rebels football, then it has to be close to UNLV.
Right. Across
the street, good. Across the street from the Thomas and Mack makes sense. The farther away they get, you can say percentage-wise, this is going to affect attendance at the games.
Right.
A mile away, maybe it's 10%. 2 miles away, until you get 10 miles away. Yep, we're back to 2,500 people paying to come see the game, and paying would be the operative word there. If you have a pull, you can get a ticket. You really don't. You can go to. They have corporate sponsors. It's not like people of Las Vegas haven't tried. Sponsors who part of their deal is you get X amount of tickets. They don't give them those tickets for any reason other than, for God's sake, people that'll actually come to the games. Well, they give them to people, but they don't actually go to the games. So you can walk up to, I'm not gonna advertise for them, but you can walk up to one of the dealers, car dealers. It's one of their sponsors, or one of the big bucks retail stores. And if you ask enough people there, somebody will turn you on to somebody who'll give you a ticket or 10. And if you'd like to sit in a corporate box out there, there's plenty of them. You look up, if you've ever been to any of the events there, you look up, there's a couple people there. There's a couple people there. They're lonely. They'd let you in and let you enjoy some of that catered food that they write off just because they're up there alone. So
we got food.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You hungry? hey, get out of that dumpster. Come watch, and I'll throw in a couple beers. That's pretty much it. So, no, I don't think that's going to fly. Have you been watching the NBA Finals?
No, I've got some other stuff going on here. So, but you said last week.
Evidently, a lot of people do. Yeah.
You said the Golden State Warriors will take it.
Yeah, this is the Alamo. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Golden State Warriors are Santa Ana, and they're the guys outside, and they're coming, and there ain't no LeBron James. It's LeBron James and the Seven Dwarfs. They have 8 warm bodies. Matthew Dellavedova comes out of Australia, goes to St. Mary's, is retired there. He's their leading scorer. Comes out of nowhere because Kyrie Irving goes down. The big three that was with LeBron James, or LeBron James was part of at Miami, was Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James, and a bunch of people you've never heard of, who he brought half of them with him to Cleveland. They're the role players: Sean Marion, Mike Miller, Jones, the sharpshooter, and they just don't have the other 2 guys standing. Real cheap play cost Kevin Love, dislocated his shoulder, and that put him out. So then it was Kyrie and LeBron. Kyrie a lot of basketball. Basketball USA last season, Basketball USA, this season. He hurt his knee. He's been going on a wheel and a half, and finally went ahead and broke it. From that, that's not something that's long-term debilitating. Just Z'd him out. So now it's LeBron, it's LeBron against 5 guys. And if Steph Curry and Thompson, Klay Thompson are on, it's difficult. But one of the I don't know if you watched the game last night. Andrew Bogut was in for one of his 3 very, very nondescript minutes in this game. The guy who had been a starter in the 2 games that they lost. And he fouled LeBron. Yeah, I guess I would have done the same thing. But as LeBron was trying to get his balance, leaning forward, he took a tumble and bumped the top of his head on a TV camera. That was, that's us cameramen have to sit somewhere. And LeBron bumped his head and got 2 pretty decent gashes in the top of his head, and it caused a delay, whatever. This moron, Andrew Bogut, who was the #1 pick in the NBA 4 or 5 years ago, who played 3 minutes, said, "Oh, LeBron jumped into the camera. I certainly didn't hit him that hard." Well, you know what? For the #1 pick to be playing 3 minutes and even open his mouth, all he had to really say was, "I'm sorry LeBron got hurt. I didn't do it intentionally, and I hope he's well, and we wish them well and good luck, and we'll see him in Game 5." Open his mouth and add fuel to the fire. You keep gouging at that dog, and you're going to get bit. So it's tied 2-2. And if LeBron is motivated, there ain't nobody on Golden State that can stop him. On the other hand, obviously there's several guys on Cleveland who have stepped up and been able to disrupt Golden State's vaunted offense, including Matthew Dellavedova, who is just one pain in the ass when you've got the ball. This is a little guy who'll dive. He'll do everything that's necessary, take the bumps and take the hits and get in there with the big guys and fight it out, like the Aussies are known for. And that's exactly what he's doing. So I may have to say, I will say, I thought the Cavaliers were a done deal. LeBron James is proving that, very much in the neighborhood of Michael Jordan. He is very much in the neighborhood of Dr. J. And I think he has surpassed Kobe Bryant as far as what he can do on the floor, because, man, when he takes a notion, but, they put 3 around out there and he's like, I can pass to Mark Anthony. I could pass to Rick Rosen. I could pass to Joe Blow. There's nobody really out there. NBA finalist starter that's alongside LeBron James. I mean, you've got J.R. Smith, who could be the stupidest basketball player on the face of the earth that's making millions and millions of dollars. He's a walking tattoo, and he has the brain function of snail crap. He's just terrible as a basketball player. He takes stupid fouls. He's known for making 3-pointers, but if I make 10 3-pointers and shoot a couple of free throws, that's 32 points. Great. That looks good until you realize I gave up 60 when I was out there because I don't play defense. And so everybody abuses me. It's basically Golden State 5-on-4 anytime that J.R. Smith is on the floor. He doesn't play defense other than reaching out and grabbing somebody. It's like the old AT&T commercial, reach out and touch somebody. That's what he does. And Iman Shumpert, the illegitimate child of Kid and Play, is not a whole lot better. He plays a little harder, but certainly not a viable. I mean, these are two guys who played on the crappiest New York Knicks team of all time, and they had Carmelo Anthony next to him. And if they were worth a damn, they'd still be in New York. But they led them to a disastrous record, and they're not doing a whole lot better with Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland has won 2 games in spite of most everybody else out there, but Dellavedova, Timothy Mozgov, the big boy that played for Dave Blatt, the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, when he was on the Russian national team. He came over in a trade from Denver, and I mean, he's a big body, and he's viable out there, but certainly not a star in the NBA. But that's all LeBron's got. So I think Golden State probably will have to screw up not to win 2 of the next 3. But that's not out of the deal. And if LeBron takes a notion, Mark, I think he has shown that he can absolutely carry a team to. And you look, they're up by 20, and next thing you look, oh shit, they're up by 4, and here comes Golden State, and then it's that scramble, and it's been more. And you realize that the first 2 games went to overtime, and the Cavaliers had a chance to win game 1 when it was tied 98-98, and LeBron James had the ball, and they said, screw it. We don't have to cover anybody LeBron James. There's nobody for him to pass to. There's nobody that's going to take this over. It's 4 guys watching LeBron and saying, win it for us. So the Cavaliers are one little drive from LeBron James that went awry for them to be up 3-1 instead of tied 2-2. So it is not out of the question, but I think it's it's a long shot that this guy's going to be able to do it. But man, if anybody can, I believe it's LeBron James. You know, it's been. On the other hand, Golden State has kind of, they were kind of the Golden Boys, and I don't know. You know, I'm an Oakland Raiders fan, but they are the Oakland Raiders. I don't know about Golden State. You know, you had the Florida Marlins, and now they're the Miami, because I think maybe it makes people feel, are you ashamed of us? Are you ashamed to let people know we play in Oakland? You just have to fool everybody and call us Golden State. You know, yeah, it's like the Arizona Diamondbacks. You know, why can't you be the Phoenix Diamondbacks? That's where you play. Or Mesa, or whatever the hell you want to call them. But I think when they take that name of a state, I think it leads to problems with their fan base and those kind of things. So anyway, Riley Curry, the sweet, cute little girl who goes to the press conferences, post-game press conferences with her dad, and is not endearing the Warriors to the press simply because you brought your kid to work. Okay, sit her there and shut her up. Give her a pacifier or a box of crayons or something. This is a press conference. You brought her to where I'm working now. You did your work and had to make it sound reasonable and not, gosh, Stephen Curry has a really cute little girl. Yep, sure does. What the hell's that got to do with basketball? So, it's kind of an odd series, but I don't think it's a incredibly compelling up to this point. They've played pretty crappy basketball. It's that surge, we're going to screw up. We can't hit a shot, and you guys get out by 20, and then we'll come roaring back when you can't hit a shot. It's not that. It's just not that classic great basketball. It's not Lakers Celtics. Let's put it that way. That was always good basketball. This is not that. So Stanley Cup
hockey
kind of again, yeah. Tampa Bay Lightning, the better of the two teams, not necessarily a lot better than the Chicago Blackhawks, but I believe they are the better functioning team. The Blackhawks seem to play with a little more grit, a little more toughness. And Tampa Bay, it was supposed to be a high-scoring series. Tampa Bay won 2-1. I don't think there's been an over, maybe one over in this. And now Tampa Bay, they have a 6'7" goalie who there's not a lot of room in that net after you get around somebody 6'7". I mean, all the padding. They were showing some of the highlights of, and God, it had to be like the Rangers. There was a thing on Derek Sanderson, which I was watching, and it was Boston and New York, and the goalie had the mask on like Jason from Elm Street, and
right.
That was it. Nobody. There was one guy in a helmet out there, and the goalie had a couple pads on his legs that were about yay far apart, from edge to edge. And other than that, he looked like every other hockey player, and he had the glove. Now these guys, they look like the kid from South Park who's out in the Stewie, who just stands there. He's all covered in stuff. He can't even move his arms. And now Bishop seems to have some lower body injury. He left twice in a game. And they put the alternate goalie in, who they eventually won that game. I believe it was 2-1, Mark. And Bishop's their starter, and you don't want to go in with the second string guy, because if he screws up, then you're out of luck. So I think they'd like to go with Bishop, but he may not play. And of course, Game 5 is that next to best game to win. Game 5, whoever's down 3-2 has Game 6, but then Game 7 goes back. Home team has that big advantage in a Game 7. So anyway, the Blackhawks have showed a lot of guts, and their goalie Crawford, boy, he makes some real tough stops, and then every once in a while he'll just give up a goal like I could have stopped. Like, really, dude, you didn't see that? No. So it's kind of an odd finals for both sports. Unfortunately, I mean, and the NHL awards ceremony, unfortunately, this year is going to move from the Wynn. It started at the Palms, and it was awesome. It went to the Wynn, and it was okay. And now it's going to go to the MGM, and it's going to be crap. So they're going to have their awards thing and make the big deal out of it. These are the people that brought you the paid weigh-in for Pacquiao Mayweather. So
right.
I'm not a big fan of that nonsense from their little gnome, but we get what we get. So
tell us how you really feel about it, Rick.
Get ready to get burned. Let me
NFL.
see. A little report came out. Well, a little report came out that Floyd Mayweather is once again the highest paid athlete, $300 million last year. This is to all them idiots who say, look how much money he's passing up, not fighting this guy or that guy. He got $300 million. If I had $300 million overall, it's not like he started at zero, Mark. So
yes.
He had a good amount of money in the first place, and now he got an extra $300 million for 2 fights in the last year. He's now going to approach Rocky Marciano's record. I don't think that total is going to go down appreciably, because to see that it's going to be a contrived fight, but it's going to be one of the biggest fights ever. It's something very historical. So Floyd's got all that money, man, and I think when he gets the record, he is done. And there's a couple things going on. Deontay Wilder is fighting for the heavyweight championship, his first defense, and he says he's going to go for the knockout, and he's known for that. But he's our American heavyweight champion. Used to be a huge deal. Now it's a yawner. Yeah, it's like, really? We got an American that's a heavyweight champion? Yeah, what's that? Speaking of heavyweights, Cain Velasquez, the heavyweight champion of the UFC, coming under some fire. Always been rumors about him and performance-enhancing drugs and those kind of things, Mark. And the heat's somebody's turning up the heat now that he's a champion. Much harder to fly under the radar that way. Yeah. So Velasquez is not having a good time of it as it is. Lastly, but not least, the the NFL, Chip Kelly has this purge going on that would make Joseph Stalin proud. it's going on at Philadelphia again, and he keeps cutting guys. I mean, he got rid of Macklin and LaShawn Jackson, and now he's on the offensive lineman. A guy skipped the mini camps, and he cut him. This guy was a pro guard, and offensive linemen are tough to come by. You know, Denver lost Ryan Clady, their tackle that keeps people from hitting Peyton Manning from behind, and there's no real viable replacement. So if you can get a guy that's been a starter in the NFL, he's going to have some value. And I think he was only going to make $5 million or $6 million, which doesn't sound like, I mean, it sounds like a lot to you and I, but
right.
As far as the NFL payroll goes, it's not a whole lot, Mark. And that's where they're at in the NFL. James Hinchcliffe had Jenna Fryer, our friend Jenna Fryer, the tremendous racing writer on Yahoo Sports, said Hinchcliffe didn't remember the wreck. He wasn't unconscious. He just has no memory of the wreck that almost cost him his life. He hit the safer barrier. And as the car bounced off, it tipped on its side, and some of the things that had broken, one of them came from the right side up and pierced his left thigh. And Indy Racing has by far and away the best safety crews simply because they have a traveling squad. When NASCAR comes here, they use our local talent. Not that these people aren't dedicated and wonderful and whatever, but
it's not their first job.
It's not the same as somebody who's constant. Every NASCAR race, the same safety personnel are there. They know who does what and who can do what. They saved James Hinchcliffe's life. They got him out and stopped the bleeding as best they could. Not only did they save his leg, they probably saved his life. He needed 18 pints of blood. That's more than you have in you to start with. So, but he was not injured in the wreck where he hit the safer barrier. Jenna goes very, very much bold print to say that he was not injured from the initial wreck. Car went up on its side, and then as something came loose, just an odd fluke, it pierced his left thigh from the right side. It came over the top of him. I mean, my God, in the helmet, man, there would have been no, it went completely through his thigh. I'm pretty sure it would have done some damage to the helmet and the head, but they dodged the bullet. But the safety crew, and they give all credit to the traveling safety crew, which, we saw in action at the horrific crash here in October of 2011 that cost Dan Weldon his life. But, them people were on the ball and did everything they could. I don't think there was much they could have done for Dan Weldon, but they kept everybody else from dying too, Mark. And so, safety, that ultimate factor. But want to give a little shout out to them. Right. Hinch says, they saved my life. And he's a good guy. He would have won the Indy 500 had he not had his head up his ass on the last turn of the last lap of the Indy 500. And instead of just lagging behind, and he had a big lead and staying behind a guy, tried to make one last pass and put it in the wall, and that was all she wrote. So all right, that's pretty much the rundown, Mark. Anything happening on your side of the world that I haven't covered?
No, I think we pretty well got it all.
All right. The Outlaws Arena Professional Football League, man, they play pretty good football, and they get some good opponents in there. 4,000 people at their last game at the Thomas and Mack, 18,000 seat arena. People, looks like a gathering. It certainly doesn't look like a crowd there. So I want to go see some darn good football. Go watch the Outlaws. The Vegas Lions are having a combine here. I believe it's going to be next month, towards the end of the next month, Mark. If people can want to play professional football, they get paid, they get insured, and if you can play, we'll find a place for you on the Vegas Lions. So
all right,
that's it, man.
Okay,
all right.
Let's wrap it up. By
the way, Adrian Peterson made it back with Minnesota, and they seem to have kissed and made up. I guess he's doing pretty good. So that remains to be seen how long that lasts. You know how honeymoons go.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, all right. Well, I guess that's about it, man. Thanks to all for listening. For Mark Anthony, I'm Rick Rosen. This is Good Sports, and we'll talk to you next week right here. Bye-bye.